If your 2026 leadership plan is to read more books, to attend more trainings, and hope something finally clicks, this episode is your wake-up call. Because the leaders who are going to thrive in 2026 aren't doing more. They're doing things different. And today I'm going to give you 5 non-negotiables that separate leaders who evolve from leaders who just get older in their role. Hey, welcome back to A Leader's Purpose podcast. My name is Tami, and today we're diving into something that I've been chewing on for a little while now. Every January, my feed, I'm assuming your feed as well, fills up with like what's coming in 2026, trends to watch, skills you need. And all of this is really valuable. I've listened to like marketing trends. I've listened to parenting trends. Listened to so many cooking trends. I've been listening to so many different trends that I was listening to it and I realized that most of it misses the point entirely. Because here's what I know after 2 decades of leading teams, coaching executives, the leaders who actually rise, they're not tracing trends. They're not collecting tactics. They're making internal shifts that most people skip right over. So today, I'm not going to give you a list of things to add to your plate. I'm going to give you 5 non-negotiables, 5 things that if you skip them, it doesn't matter how many podcasts you listen to or conferences you attend, you'll stay exactly where you are. And so if you're listening and thinking, like, I've done all the right things and still something feels off, you're exactly who I'm making this episode for. So let's do this. So 5 things, these 5 non-negotiables is 1, you need a mentor and you need to be a mentor. So information is moving so fast that we can't use information to lead alone. Your blind spots are what's costing you, and you can't see them from inside your own head. You can't see the forest within the trees. You can't see the other one I like is you can't read the label from inside the jar. And so, but here's what most leaders miss. Mentoring isn't charity work. It's how you stay sharp. It's when you have to articulate why you lead the way you lead, you can clarify it for yourself. And then the act of pouring into someone else forces you to examine what you actually believe. So this is where you've got to have a mentor and you need to be a mentor. Also, if you haven't noticed, the potential leaders coming up, they haven't had the same upbringing. They haven't had the same experiences you've had that have made you a good leader. And so many times that this being a mentor is actually what you need, what your people need from you in order to step into the role that they need to do. And so in being mentored, it's not a weakness, it's wisdom. I have a mentor of mine who I know this is not her saying. She got it from, I think John Maxwell is who said it. But if you want to go faster, you hire a master. Leaders who think that they've arrived are the ones that are getting lapped. And so if you think that you don't need mentorship, your blind spots are most likely costing you something. And so this is where in my framework, we talk about strategic clarity. Because when you have a mentor, they can point out things that you're not seeing. So number 2 is you have to be intentional. Nothing happens by chance. Passive consumption does not create transformation. You can read every leadership book published this year and still walk away or still walk into Monday's meeting the exact same way. Hope is not a strategy. The leader that you want to be, you can't stumble into growth. You engineer it. You read something, pull out one thing, and then apply it before the weekends, apply it before the day ends. Intentionality is the difference between leaders who evolve and leaders who are just staying in the role and just aging in the role, just gaining the years of experience versus the wisdom that comes from it. And so this is where we navigate what's going on. You don't drift into your next chapter, you build it decision by decision. And so nothing you have and nothing you want is going to happen by chance. So you have to be intentional about what you're doing. Number 3, active learning. You are responsible for your own growth. Your employer may have ideas. They may have like a director of training. There may be HR programs. There may be your employer may value leadership development. However, those leadership developments are only going to get you so far. Again, just like those books, you take something from it and run with it. your leadership program that was cultivated for your team or for your organization was not specifically designed for you to get you to the next level. It was for the team, the skills that the team needs, the areas of growth for the team. They're great, and I love doing those. It's one of my favorite things to do is work with teams. And those leaders who want to grow take that as a jumping off point. And so you don't wait for permission, you don't wait for programs, you don't wait for promotions to invest in yourself. You pursue growth like your legacy depends on it, because it does. This shifts you from passenger to pilot, from consumer to creator. And it allows you to hone in on the skills that you want to cultivate. And I'm a big proponent of, when you identify what your strengths are, go after those first and then see what your weaknesses are, and then partner with somebody who has your weaknesses as their strength. But you have to be actively learning. It's not your employer's responsibility to get you what you need in every way, for even for the job that they're paying you to do. It's still, if you want to elevate as a leader, it's on you. And it's not as hard as you think. There's so many programs, so many things you can learn. And this is where, like, books are really good as long as you're intentional about what you take from it. And so, active learning, always be learning something. Number 4, see where are we in time? Okay, we're doing good. You have to lead from your body, not just your brain. We want to be more hands-on in 2026. We can't just throw out concepts and think that it's going to land for our people. Leaders cannot hide behind strategy decks. We can't hide behind Slack messages. Your team doesn't follow your plans. They follow your energy, your nervous system, your presence. When crisis hits, they don't remember what you said in the all hands meeting. They remember how you showed up in the room. And this is what's going to connect you with your people, is when you are leading from your heart, from your body, from your soul, from your entire being, not just your thoughts or your orders. Then at this point, your leadership becomes more of a presence instead of a directive. It becomes a embodiment. You become the leader that they look up to versus someone who's their boss, someone who tells them what to do. And so it's really important that we remember this, because when crisis comes, which, if 2025 shows us anything, we know crises are going to happen. Just a matter of when, how big, who is it going to affect. It's not something we should run from, because as I talked about in the Resilient Leader series, if you haven't listened to that, I really do encourage you to go back and listen, because that series talks about how to be the leader that you need to be in the middle of a crisis. And it's about becoming that resilient leader before the crisis even happens. It talks about being that resilient leader on a regular Tuesday and training for it. And it may be my military background why I know that it's so important to train before the actual event. But it's also just smart planning. It's also just, it clears the fog. And when things happen, if you already have a decision, it's it's easier for your brain to say, okay, we know what to do and let's go for it, instead of hearing all of the different angles. So you have to lead from your body, not just your brain. Leadership has to be hands-on. You can't be behind the scenes anymore. You can't just shoot an email and expect that you're going to get the results that you want. And this goes back into the number 1 non-negotiable, that you need to mentor. And you may be saying here, I can already hear one of my clients say, but Tami, I don't have time to sit with all my people and tell them what to do individually. I was like, well, this is not what I'm asking. I'm asking for you to mentor them and give them guidance, give them clarity, and let them see why you make the decisions that you're making. And the reason why we do that is that way eventually they will start making the decisions too. So this is the hands-on. So 1 and 4 go together here, but it's different than the mentorship piece. The mentorship is, and it doesn't have to be daily, but make it a point to like intentionally mentor, pull out some of the strengths of your people. But this is the hands-on in leadership. Go into the bullpen, go into your people's offices, and instead of sending an email, tell them and say, okay, what can we do? How can I support you? You've got to be more hands on versus hands off or behind the scenes. And this doesn't mean that you are doing the job yourself. You are still encouraging your people. I mean, that's what a leader does is it, empowers their people to go forward. So you can't outsource your presence. You need to be there with your people. And knowing that the more you do this, the easier it's going to get because your team is going to understand and follow your energy. They're going to understand why you make the decisions you are. And then they're going to be able to make them in your place. And then you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's exactly what I would have done. So it's so important that we lead from a hands-on, a active position. And the number 5, you must know who you are before you decide what to do. With all the AI doing the what, the leaders who win are the ones who are crystal clear on their who. Identity clarity isn't soft, it's strategic. It's not woo, it's structural. When everyone else around you is shifting, the only thing that keeps you from spiraling is knowing what you stand for, what you're building, why it matters, the why behind the why. When you understand your core motivations, you understand your core values, when you understand your convictions and why, and on a bigger level of your people may not understand each decision or what goes behind it. But when you do, and you can express it, when you can clearly state it, and you understand, and you're even when you get pushback, and you say, okay, and this is the reason why we're going to go do it this way anyway. You cannot lead by throwing spaghetti on the wall. You can't lead managing everyone else's emotions. This one is I've worked with so many leaders who had the Sunday doldrums and they go into meetings and they are more focused on managing the emotions in the room and how it's going to land with this person and that person versus planning on, okay, what information do I need to give? What actions do we need to take? What questions do I need to ask? And then how do we get it out of there? How many times do we walk out of a meeting and say that could have been an email? When you know who you are, you know what you stand for, you know you are crystal clear on the why. Those stand-up meetings, those meetings that you have can be very intentional. They can be shorter and they can be more impactful because there's not a lot of people can know what to expect when you walk in. And so it's so important. It's so important. And again, we can't dole this to AI. We can't go and I do use AI. I'm actually really excited. I am working on creating an AI like co-pilot for my clients where I put their information in, their core motivations, core values. It's still in beta. Um, but I'm so excited about it because then they will be able to get based on my IP, my experience, what I would advise them to do or questions that I would ask of them when they bring things to me. So I'm in the beta right now creating that. And so it'll be customized for each of my individual clients. And then my teams, I will have one for them as well that they can have, which it'll be programmed with their team motivations and missions and all of that. So I'm really excited. All of that to say, it's not that we want to stay away from AI, but AI has given us information. They are breaking down tasks. AI is creating the what, which means our who and our why. Delegate that out. Because we don't have to use our energy on coming up with the what, we need to know who we are and the conviction behind it. It's also because AI can lie. I mean, I've tested ChatGPT multiple times and I'm like, you just lied to me. I asked you for like data and you completely made it up. It was talking, I think it was about a football game. I think is what it was. Cause someone's like, yeah, go ahead and just type in this. And what do you know? They told me the wrong team had won the game, like made up a play and everything. And I was like, are you serious? So we cannot depend on AI to do the work for us. A lot of people are letting AI do some of the identity work for them. Like, who am I? Like, it doesn't have to be woo. It does not have to be pie in the sky. It can be very strategic and tactical and it can be very clear. And that's where And that's where we're going in 2026. We're not throwing spaghetti at the wall anymore. We are not like trying different things and wondering if it'll work. We're going to be intentional. We're going to be active, and we're going to know who we are. If any of this resonates and you want to know who you are, get on my calendar. Let's talk. We can do what I like to call the Aligned Leadership Blueprint, where we start looking at what are your core motivations? What do people misunderstand about you? How to get the most out of you? How do you lead? These fundamental questions of who, we can break that down from, an assessment and to really hone in the questions. And then I create this document for you. So there is no guessing. And I will tell you that though it's never perfect, I have yet to give a blueprint to someone and say, this isn't me at all. Typically, they say, this is, and I've never been able to say it this clearly. And so if that's what you want, get on my calendar. Let's just chat. There's no pressure. There's no, if you get on my calendar, does not mean that you are signed up for anything. It means we can talk about what's possible. So if you want to be a leader in 2026 that rises above, that has all the opportunities, and that people want to follow, these 5 things are your difference makers. These are the differentiators. These are what's going to change things for you. And the thing is that this is all about shedding what doesn't belong. It's not about adding more things to your to-do list. When you are a leader who leads from conviction and authority in a way that's foundational and service-led, people want to follow you. When you have a mentor who can point out your blind spots and help you say, how else can we look at this? Then that's when, and again, an advisor is, I have an advisor, I have a coach, I have a spiritual mentor. I believe in mentorship and getting someone because there's things about myself that I cannot see and that my mentors can. And it has been a game changer for me, my family, my business, my personal life, because when you want to go faster, you hire a master. So I want to encourage you, these 5 non-negotiables this year. Pick your favorite one. Pick one of them and go for it. You have the full year to implement these. Be more hands-on, be more active, invest in your growth, know who you are. All right, friend. I'm so grateful that you have been here at A Leader's Purpose podcast. And if you are getting something from this, I would really appreciate you leaving a rating and review for me. This is very important for the algorithm. It's important for me too, because I like to read them and see what is resonating, what you like about the podcast, because these I do for you. I do enjoy them. I do have fun with them, and I love coming up with new topics every week. And I just know that, I want to keep doing this for you. So if you can leave me a rating and review and then share this with somebody, help me grow this podcast. And with that, I will talk to you really soon. Choose joy until joy chooses you. Bye for now. Before you go, I just want to say thank you for spending this time with me. I know your attention is valuable and I don't take it lightly. If this episode gave you language for something that you've been carrying, I'd love for you to give me a rate and review on the podcast. This helps the conversation reach others and other leaders who need to hear it. It also helps me see what landed and what you want more of. And if leadership starts to feel heavier than it should, you don't have to figure it out alone. You can book a leadership strategy call in the show notes, TamiMarieCoaching.com/call. And until next time, lead with clarity, stay grounded in who you are, and choose joy until joy chooses you. Bye for now.